Councillor John Brady, Sinn Féin, Aengus and Crowe, and we're launching our proposals for political reform. Aengus will deal with some of the detail in relation to the law. But the key to what we're proposing here is about empowering citizens. It's about actively promoting citizens' rights, and is about trying to make all of our political structures and all of our systems accountable. And that includes also local government. So we have a range of propositions here, and unlike the other parties, I mean, some of these parties have been in power for 60 years. We'll do this. If we do it in the north, we'll do it here if we get a mandate to do it. One of the things that struck me, just as almost illustrative of the type of system we have, this is Oris and Realtus, government buildings. Our government pays rent to the British, ground rent to the British for this building. Arbor Hill, where the leaders of 19 and 16 are buried, our government pays ground rent to the British for that. So if you want a sample of the state we're in, there's a very, very good sample. And I suppose also the tens of thousands, or perhaps hundreds of thousands of citizens across the state who are also paying ground rent to the British. So there's a need for reform, constitutional reform, political reform, an end to the corruption, clean it up, bring in measures if need be to ensure that any TD guilty of corruption can be indicted and face proper processes, and Aengus can deal with some of the detail of that.
We believe that there's a need for root and branch change to many of the institutions in this state, and the way we elect people to either the Dáil, to Europe, to Seán, and to local authorities. And we've proposed a range of proposals which are in the document before people today. One is to abolish the Seán in its current form, change the PR system so that you have a third of those elected from a list system, and that you increase the constituency size to 7. And if needs be, that you reduce the number of TDs by 50. We've also proposed that Irish immigrants abroad, who played a huge role in Irish society over the years, also get the vote into the future. We've proposed a reduction in the age that people can contest elections, and we have also made proposals in relation to committees, that in future that legislation be initiated and discussed at committee in the first instance. That parties, political parties, be recognised once they had two TDs elected and had reached 5% of the vote. The other changes to change the Dáil to make it more family friendly, that you have sittings from 9 to 5, so to ensure that would help increase the representation of women, but also help address the problems in relation to staff kind of who have to make arrangements when the Dáil sits kind of on an ongoing basis long into the night. The other proposals is to reduce the salaries not only of TDs but also of public servants at the highest level, and also that appointments to state boards be made more transparent, and that the public be entitled to put in their CVs for such appointments. And there is a range of other issues. One of the other key ones is that by-elections be held within 90 days of the vacancy occurring.
Michael, yours, so
So you would reform the Seán rather than abolish it?
We're saying we abolish the Dáil or the Seán in its current format, and that we ask the All-Ireland Consultative Forum, which we also envisage, to look at the Constitution, and in looking at the Constitution that it deals with whether we have a single chamber parliament or whether we have two chambers. In the past we have said that regardless of anything else, that the Seán is an elitist institution and it should be elected by general franchise on the same day that the Dáil is elected.
Well,